The state of Florida is investigating a police shooting in North Miami. A Hispanic officer shot and wounded an unarmed black man. The victim was a mental health worker who was trying to return an autistic patient to a group home. Jerika Duncan's following this.
This was the scene captured on cell phone video Monday. 47-year-old Charles Kenzie, unarmed, laying on his back, hands raised in the air. The younger man sitting next to him is autistic and escaped from a nearby facility. Kenzie is his caretaker there. Police say they were responding to a 911 call of a man with a gun threatening to commit suicide. An object can clearly be seen in the young man's hand. The object was a toy truck. At some point during the incident, one officer reportedly fires 3 shots, not seen on video, hitting Kenzie once in the upper leg. A second video shows police handcuffing both men. Kenzie is recovering at a local hospital.
I still got my hands in the air saying, no, I just got shot. I'm standing there, I'm like, sir, why did you shoot me? In his words to me, he said, I don't know.
Shalom. I want to first give all credit to YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. I want to give a double honors to my apostles and elders of Greatmillstones, those that teach this truth and sincerity. And the title of this lesson, I'm going to call it, Why Does Esau, so-called white man, hate you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Indians so much? Now, I started this video with a video. This video is a couple of years old. Some of you may remember this story about the social worker that was basically tending to supposedly this special needs child escaped a facility or something along those lines, and this social worker, supposedly the cops were called, and this special needs child, I guess they thought he had a gun or whatever, and the social worker was just basically trying to do his job. Long story short, the guy ended up laying on his back with his hands up, and he ended up still getting shot for it. But the point I want to get out of this video is the guy that ended up getting shot, he asked the cop, why did he shoot him? And the cop responded, I don't know. But those of the faith know exactly why. And we're about to get into some scriptures. So that goes back to the title, Why Does Esau, so-called white man, hate you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians so much? So, Lord's will, this video is edifying, and just want to get into a little bit of the origins, a little bit of the history, going back to Genesis. We'll start at the 25th chapter, going into when actually I'm gonna start at the 27th chapter. A lot of people ask why, or question, why do all these, why do these cops shoot Jake down so much? It's because of a perpetual hatred. It's just in their spirit. That's just how the Lord, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, set up things. So, but it all started when our forefather Jacob, who is the progenitor of you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, supplanted Esau of his blessing, and ever since then, Esau vowed in his heart to, basically pay back. So going to get in a little bit into the history. Starting in Genesis, the 27th chapter, and I'm going to start at bear with me. I'm just going to start at verse 1. It says, and it came to pass, Genesis 27:1. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son. Again, if you know the history, Isaac, being another one of our forefathers, being the father of Jacob and Esau, it came the time where he was about to pass away. He got old. It was getting that time. Him basically being on his deathbed. The tradition back then was to give the blessing to the firstborn. So that's this process was about to take place. Isaac, being on his deathbed, was about to give the blessing to his firstborn Esau, because if you know the history, Esau came out first, then it was Jacob. But reading on, it says, he called Esau his eldest son and said unto him, my son. And he said unto him, behold, here am I. And he said, behold, now I am old, I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the field and take me some venison. Because Esau was a man of the field. He was a scriptures, and that's how you can tell. Matter of fact, I'm going to get it. And that's how you could tell who Esau is today, because they like to be in the field. They like rock climbing, bike climbing, and being out there in the woods, hiking and whatnot. So that's through the spirit how you can tell who Esau is today. I'm just going to get it real quick. Genesis, the 25th chapter. Start at verse 26. And after that came his brother out and actually I'm gonna start at verse 23. And Yahawah said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the first came out red, all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. So even though these two children, they were twins, they weren't identical twins. They were fraternal twins. It just as it reads in verse the 23rd, the 23rd verse, it talks about how these two. I'm gonna just read the verse 23, and it says, and Yahawah said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people. So though they were again, they were twins, but these will be two completely different people. And it gives that description back in verse 27. It says Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. So like I said, that's how you can distinguish who Esau is. These people, they like going out in the field. They like to hunt, do things of that manner. It says Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents, and how Jake be chilling at the crib playing Xbox and things like that. So let's see if there's anything else I want. Just giving some more characteristics of Esau. It says, I'm going to read at verse 30. It says, and Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And that red pottage goes into like meat that's not fully cooked. So just wanting to bring out the point that that's another characteristic of Esau. Them they like their meat rare or medium rare, and you know, basically bloody. And you know, that's another one of their characteristics. You don't see a lot of Jakes. You know, Jake, they be like their meat cooked for the most part. You know, you do have some Jakes out there, they like their you know, meat bloody and whatnot, but for the most part, as a whole, you know, we don't really, you know, like our meat, you know, bloody and whatnot. But nevertheless, reading on, it says, and Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. So, you know, one of the reasons Esau hates Jacob so much, which are you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, is because he got supplanted out of the birthright. The kingdom that is to come, you know, that could be the kingdom that is about to be established is you know, something is far beyond our imagination. And Esau knows he screwed it up. You know, everything that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are about to get, it should have been given to him, because again, you know, the tradition back then was to, you know, all the blessings you give it to the firstborn, and Esau was technically the firstborn. He came out first. So, you know, again, you know, a lot of people ask, you know, why does Esau, so-called white man, hate Jake so much, or Jacob, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians? Why does he hate us so much? And part of that reason is, or the main reason is, because, you know, our forefather Jacob supplanted Esau out of his birthright. So, going back to real quick, it says, just lost my train of thought. But anyways, continuing on, I'm gonna jump to verse, chapter 27. Again, going back to Genesis chapter 27 and verse 20, verse 4. Again, this is when Isaac was about to pass away, and he was about to give the blessing to the firstborn, which was technically Esau. So Isaac sent Esau out to fetch him some venison, because Esau can make a mean venison. So, you know, so to say, you know, Isaac's last meal, you know, wanted to be, you know, he wanted Esau to make him, you know, that venison. But reading on, verse 4, it says, and make me savory meat such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son. And Esau went to the field to hunt for venison, to bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat, and bless thee before Yahawah, before my death. So as Esau went out to fetch that venison, because again, you know, Esau is a very cunning hunter, so, you know, he spends a lot of time, you know, in the field and whatnot, things of that nature. Rebekah told Jacob to, you know, basically come in and take take the blessing that Isaac was going to give Esau. Just want to jump to the point. Verse 12, it says, my father, this is Jacob talking to his mother, Rebekah. My father peradventure will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. And his mother said unto him, upon me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice, and go fetch me them. So the point I want to get out of this verse is, you know, Jacob knew that, you know, Isaac was going to, you know, well, pretty much if Isaac found out that he was betraying himself to be his brother Esau, then Isaac will bring a curse upon him. But, you know, Rebecca knew what was up. You know, it's all through the spirit. You know, again, part of the blessing was to, a part of the tradition back then was for the firstborn to get all the blessing. And again, the point I'm trying to get is, you know, since Esau did come out first, he's not getting the blessing, you know. And that's one of the reasons why, you know, he hates us so much, because, again, it was the tradition of the firstborn to get all the blessing. And technically he is the firstborn. So that's just, it's like, it's part of his, the sore bitterness that he has, because he's not getting a damn thing. So again, you know, part of the point I wanted to get out of that verse is, you know, this was all set up through the spirit. Okay, part of Esau's bitterness is, you know, he was supposed to get the first the blessing, the first fruits, so to say. But again, he got supplanted, and we're going to continue to read on in verses verse 19. It says, and Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac said unto his son. Now remember, you read in the first verse, it talks about how, you know, Isaac was, you know, he was getting old, he was losing his eyesight was getting dim, so he couldn't really see. So you know, reading on, it says, how is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, because Yahawah thy power brought it to me. And Isaac said unto Jacob, come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. Verse 22, and Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him, and he said, art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, come near now and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which Yahawah hath blessed. Therefore God give thee of the dew in heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that my soul may bless me, that thy soul may bless me. Not knowing, you know, Esau came back, not knowing that, you know, again, Jacob supplanted, he already got the blessing. Isaac already blessed Jacob. So, you know, Esau, here comes Esau. Reading on in verse 33, and Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, where is he that had taken venison and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. So, you know, again, the blessing already went to Jacob, which is our forefather. And here comes Esau, crying like a little baby, asking, begging for a blessing. And he got blessed, but he's not. Basically, he wasn't blessed with the kingdom and everything that is about to be bestowed upon you, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. He's not to be a partaker of that, but he's going to get a blessing, and this is his blessing. Reading verse 36, it says, "And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob?" Which means the name Jacob means to supplant. So, reading on, it says, "For he hath supplanted me these 2 times." The first time, as we read, Jacob supplanted Esau of the birthright. So that was the first time, and this is the second time he's talking about. He got supplanted out of the blessing. So reading on, it says, "He took away my birthright, and behold, now he taketh away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants." So again, we're not in that blessing right now. But again, it was already, Isaac had already blessed Jacob, saying that part of that blessing would be Esau's going to have to serve us. So, again, you question why Esau hates you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians so much. This is part of the reason. You think you would think these people, here it is, they already look at us less than nothing. We're counted less than a human being, and you think they want to serve us? They call us niggers and spics and wetbacks and whatnot. You think they want to serve us? So, reading on, in verse 37, "And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son?" And Esau said unto his father, "Hast thou but one blessing, my father?" So again, Esau, remember, he's crying bitterly. He just wants that blessing. Reading on, it says, "Bless me, even me also, O my father." So again, he's persistent on getting this blessing, or getting a blessing. Crying, weeping sorely. Reading on, "And Esau lifted up his voice and wept." Again, he's crying like a little bitch, so to say. And that's another characteristic of these so-called white people. They lose a job, and they're ready to shoot up the whole place. They lose a job, or they're ready to commit suicide, jump off the side of the building, or whatever the case may be. They're willing to do these extreme measures. This is another characteristic of Esau. You see Jake, a lot of times we might lose a job, and we just take it with a grain of salt, on to the next. It is what it is. We find another one. But these people, they got to take it to the extreme. But nevertheless, reading on verse 39, "And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck." So, basically, Esau, his blessing was given. He was given the fatness of the earth, pretty much all the natural resources of the earth. But part of that, how he would get it, is the point. When it says, in verse 40, it says, "And by thy sword shalt thou live." And that sword today would be the modern day gun. Their tanks and Humvees, and basically, because that word sword, it goes into destruction. So, and part of that blessing actually would be his witchcraft, which his propaganda, basically, their news and media and things like that. That's actually part of his blessing as well. But it's known how, like, let's just look at how they got America. Just that fact alone. It's known Christopher Columbus came over here with the it's known as they're basically trying to put it in modest terms, basically the American cavalry, the American army, basically. They came over here when Gad was over here, which are the so-called North American Indians. They came over here. They talked about peace plans and peace treaties and things like that, and straight up lied. At a certain point in time, they damn nearly wiped Gad off out of existence through their sword and through their violence. That's how they get everything, through violence, destruction. Everywhere that Esau goes, they bring hell with them, as the scriptures say. And you wonder why a lot of these countries are getting tired of America, like Africa. Africa is they want the American army out of their country, because it's being known through the prophets of the Lord, primarily and specifically the men of Great Millstone. They're getting exposed by everything. They're all their plans are being exposed, and that's another reason why they're getting fed up. They're getting tired of all their plans being exposed. So again, this is part of the reason why they hate so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians so much. Another reason is, through the spirit and power of YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, all their plans are being exposed. I mentioned this before. After a certain period of time, it became clear that 9/11 was an inside job. These devils are so wicked, they're willing to kill their own people. They don't give a damn about their own people. What makes you think that they're going to give a damn about you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians? So, seeing if there's anything else I want out of here. Actually, verse 41, it says, and Esau hated Jacob. See, this is where it started. Read that again in verse 41. It says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So, ever since this time, it's always been in their spirit. It's always been in their heart, to kill you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. This, what they're feeling, what their forefather Esau felt, it hasn't changed. You clearly see that today. Again, with all these cops shooting and killing down Jake, and all the atrocities that they have done to our people. So this is where it stems from. So seeing if there's anything that I want. So Esau's always had it in his heart to basically take us out. And again, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI set it up to be that way for his purpose and his will. So, but yeah, it all goes back to that perpetual hatred. You might think these people are your friend. You might think they're friendly. You might come across, a few cool Edomites or whatever, but deep down in their hearts, that hatred is there. Verse Jeremiah chapter 50, yeah. Yeah. Ezekiel. Is that Ezekiel chapter 35? Ezekiel chapter 35, I'm going to start at verse 1. Moreover, the word of Yahawah came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, which is the That's another name for Esau, Edom, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, thus saith, and thus saith the Lord God, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh. This is the point, verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. And I brought this out before. Esau's not more but a spanking tool for, like, if you read throughout the different captivities that we've been through, like the Babylonians, the Syrians, the Persians and Medes, they didn't put us through what Esau's put us through. You read about that in Maccabees, how it talks about how when the Greeks came into power, which were Edomites, that's when evils started multiplying on the earth. But these devils, man, they've taken things to the extreme, you know. Again, we've been in these different captivities because of our disobedience, and we pay for our sins. It tells you that in the book of Lamentations. But these devils, you know, they take it beyond and above, and that's what the Lord is talking about here in verse 5 when it says, verse 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. So, you know, it's been a set period of time that we will be in captivity. But these devils, of course, you know, they're not going to let us out of captivity. It's going to take YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. He's basically going to take us out of here and bring Esau down by force, because they're not going to, you know, just let us go free. Again, America was built off of the bloodshed of so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. So, you know, that's free labor. So of course they're not just going to let us walk out of here and go to our homeland and just serve the Lord our power. They're not going to do that, because again, it says that perpetual hatred. You know, that word perpetual it's a continuing, never-ending hatred that these people have towards us. So, you know, going back to this video, you know, when this guy asked, why does
I just got shot. And I'm standing there, so I'm like, sir, why did you shoot me? And his words to me, he said, I don't know.
Because again, it's in his heart. It's in their nature to hate you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. You know, so and they're about to show a lot of our people, a lot of you jakes thinking, you know, these people are cool with you. But it's going to come a point in time where Esau is going to show his true colors. He's going to show you what he's about. And you, again, the whole thing with, you know, Trump sending out military troops throughout America, they're clamping down on society. They're about to show you their true colors. The scriptures talk about how they are just look this up, the hammer of the earth. You know, everywhere they go, like I said, they bring destruction. Yeah, that was Jeremiah 50. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon? And Babylon, America is known as spiritual Babylon. Okay. So throughout the scriptures, when it talks about Babylon the Great, or it's referring to America. Reading on it says, become a desolation among the nations. Yeah, it's going to take Yahawashi. He's going to have to get, things are going to get so bad, he's going to have to come and intervene, because, with the whole New World Order, Esau's whole New World Order system, they're going to get pretty damn close. But right when they get to the point where they want to be, that's when Yahawashi is going to show up, and he's going to deliver his people, starting with the elect and the 1/3. Because remember, I said this in a previous video, 2/3 aren't going to make it. So, it's going to get so bad out here. And again, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI is using Esau as a spanking tool for 2/3 of Israel. So, he's going to put his spirit on Esau to punish Israel. And like I've mentioned this before, it's always been like that. The Lord has always used the nations in our different captivities to punish us, because we're hard-headed. So again, you question and wonder why Esau hates the so-called black, Hispanic, Native American Indian man so much. It's because of that perpetual hatred, beginning with our forefather Jacob supplanting Esau out of his birthright, supplanting Esau out of his blessing, and they're trying to get that blessing back. Believe it or not, they're actually going to try to get that blessing back. So, Esau's about to come down on you, on you, Jakes, and they're about to come hard, as we just read. And how was the hammer of the whole earth? Again, who was the earth given to in the first place? Going back to what is that? Job 9:24. Job 9:24 says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So again, who rules this earth right now? The so-called white man. They have U.S. embassies in damn nearly every continent. Damn nearly every country. They have their U.S. embassies. And that's why these nations, they're being exposed through the prophets of the Lord, specifically from the Greatmillstones. They're exposing all their plans, and all these other nations are starting to wake up. So, again, that's part of the reason why they hate you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians so much. So, that's pretty much all I wanted to get into. Lord's will, this was edifying. So, until the next time, I say shalom.